Alright, Jon Favreau, you've impressed me so much with The Jungle Book, and now you're doing another Disney live-action remake, this time of my favorite animated movie of all time. Could he make another good Disney live-action remake? Fingers crossed. Alright, got my Lion King shirt on. Now time to review the new Disney live-action remake of The Lion King 2019. The Lion King 2019 is the new Disney live-action remake of the 1994 animated film of the same name, directed by Jon Favreau and has the voice cast of Donald Glover, Chiwetel Ejiofor, Seth Rogen, Billy Eichner, John Oliver, and many others. Now, I like to start off with a plot summary in my reviews, but I don't know if I need to for this one because it's The Lion King. It's the same story as the 1994 animated film, but this time in photorealistic CGI, so it's pretty much the short way of summing it up. Same plot as the 1994 film, this time in live action. Now, like I said in my intro, The Lion King is my favorite animated movie of all time. I absolutely adore it. My top 10 favorite movies of all time. The memorable characters, the terrific 2D hand-drawn animation which holds up extremely well today, amazing voice cast, iconic music. It is a masterpiece of animation. Well, not just a masterpiece of animation, a masterpiece in general. So when I heard Disney was going to do a live-action remake of The Lion King, this was my reaction.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
I was not happy when I heard Disney was going to do a remake of The Lion King. However, something that did get my interest though was that Jon Favreau was picked to direct The Lion King remake, and that got my attention, that got me interested. Now I think Jon Favreau is a very talented director. He started the Marvel Cinematic Universe with the great Iron Man, and even though he's made a few movies, Iron Man 2, Cowboys and Aliens, I still think he's a really good director. And I love the 2016 Jungle Book movie. I still think this is the best Disney live-action remake so far, and I liked how Jon Favreau did his own version of the Jungle Book story. It was visually amazing, had a great voice cast, and I love this movie. And I actually did a review of this movie earlier this year, my series of Disney live-action remakes, reimaginings review, and I'll put a link in the description if you want to check out that review. And the trailers for this movie came out, and they did get me interested. They did get me a bit excited for this remake and interested to see what Jon Favreau would do with this film. And about the Disney live-action remakes that they have been doing for the past few years, I'm neutral about them. I don't really hate them. I don't really like them that much. I would say there are like two that I don't like would be Maleficent and Alice Through the Looking Glass. I did not like those movies. And there are a few that I like. The few that come to mind like Pete's Dragon, Cinderella, and the only one that I truly love is The Jungle Book from 2016. And this movie came out and I was both excited but curious at the same time. I wanted to give this movie a chance, wanted to see what Jon Favreau would do with this story. I was liking the visuals, the cast looked promising, and I saw this movie Thursday night and haven't had my chance to review it yet, but now's my chance. And what do I think of the new Disney live-action remake of The Lion King? It was okay. It was fine. I wouldn't say it was a bad movie, but I don't think it was all that good. I think it's very average, and honestly, it really didn't justify its own existence of why we needed a Lion King remake. However, I do have some positive things to say about this remake, so I'll get to those first. First, right out of the way, easily, this movie is visually amazing. Seriously, the effects team that Jon Favreau gets for this and The Jungle Book, just so much praise to them. Just please give them a raise. The fur and textures on the animals, the locations, landscapes, it all looks fantastic. This is some great CGI, just how photorealistic it looked. All this, just amazing CGI. And I feel like this film will get nominated for Best Visual Effects at the Oscars. I feel like it would happen. As for winning, like The Jungle Book, I don't know if it will win, but we'll see. Well, the film I want to win visual effects this year, Avengers Endgame I feel like should win visual effects, or a movie that's not out yet that I feel like has a chance of winning. Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker, even though it's not out yet, I feel like has a chance of winning. Well, either Endgame or The Rise of Skywalker I feel like should win visual effects, but we'll see. I'll be satisfied if this movie gets nominated for visual effects because this is some terrific visual effects work. And the voice cast in this movie is solid. And easily the two characters that stole the show are Billy Eichner as Timon and Seth Rogen as Pumbaa. Both these two are great. I thought both of them were perfect casting as a remake of Timon and Pumbaa. I thought they did a good job as both characters. They were easily the most entertaining part of the movie. They played off each other very well. And I heard both Billy Eichner and Seth Rogen recorded their lines for Timon and Pumbaa, like the voice actors for Timon and Pumbaa in the original animated film. I really enjoyed every scene they were in. They were both funny. These two stole the show. And someone in the voice cast I surprisingly liked was John Oliver as Zazu. I thought he worked very well as Zazu. I thought he was a good choice as Zazu. And it was great that they brought back James Earl Jones, a legend, back to voice Mufasa. Although maybe a few scenes and line reads, I felt like he wasn't giving it his all entirely as Mufasa like he did in the animated film. But still, it was cool that they brought back James Earl Jones, and I thought he did a good job again as Mufasa. Now, someone in the voice cast I was worried about, and that was Chiwetel Ejiofor as Scar. Now, Jeremy Irons absolutely killed it as Scar in the animated film. And although Ejiofor is a really good actor, I was interested to see what he would do in Scar, although his performance in the trailers did get me a bit worried. And honestly, I thought he did a decent job as Scar. Now, I wouldn't say he was as good as Jeremy Irons, but I thought Chiwetel Ejiofor did a good job as Scar. I like that he made this version of Scar his own. He didn't try to copy Jeremy Irons, and at least he was trying to bring his own menace to the role without trying to copy Jeremy Irons, which I liked. And I felt like he was a bit more menacing in the actual film than he was in the trailer, so I thought he did a good job as Scar. The iconic Lion King music, still in this movie. Although the musical numbers were lacking, I still felt like the music was good in this movie. Joy to Kuna Matata, Can You Feel the Love Tonight? And they did a good job recreating the opening with the Circle of Life. They did a good job recreating that. But sadly, that's about it. And now let's get into the negatives. Now, I want to say, I really like Donald Glover, and I was looking forward to seeing him voicing Simba. And I think Donald Glover is awesome. He is super talented, and last year, I thought he was the best part of Solo: A Star Wars Story as Lando Calrissian. And I was interested to see what he would do as Simba, but fortunately, he was okay. I felt like he had some line delivery that was pretty flat, wooden. I didn't really buy him as adult Simba, and sadly disappointed with his performance. Same for Beyonce as adult Nala. She's fine. Something about her voice as Nala just didn't really work for me. My biggest problem with this remake is that it's emotionally hollow and not at the same level of emotion as the animated film. Like I said earlier, the CGI, the visuals are amazing, these photorealistic lions, but there were some cons to that too. There's a reason why The Lion King needed to be told in animation, allowing the animators to be expressive and do what they want, how they tell the story, giving us these facial expressions feel emotional. And since they're like so photorealistic and just taking away the facial expressions, and I took away the emotion, and I didn't really feel that much emotion like I did in the animated film. And there were moments that were trying to be emotional that just didn't really have the same impact, or were just rushed, and I just didn't get the same feeling emotion just hit me hard in the animated film that just didn't really do it for me in this new remake. Now, this film turned out what I was afraid it would turn out to be, and I was hoping that this would not be what it would be. This film is sadly a shot-for-shot remake, beat by beat, same story as the 1994 animated film. Well, not exactly line for line, but it pretty much follows the same story, and you pretty much know where the story is going to go. And there are a few changes here and there, but there were very little surprises for me. There was like, huh, that's an interesting change. I like that. There just wasn't really much that surprised me. Despite the amazing visuals, there just really wasn't much that surprised me. And I was disappointed that this film turned out what I was worried it would turn out to be, a shot-for-shot remake. And this film just pretty much followed the same story. And the musical numbers were very lacking and just unexciting. Especially I Can't Wait to Be King it was catchy, the song, sure. There just really wasn't enough oomph or excitement in any of the musical numbers. And there is one new song that was added in, a scene where Simba returns to Pride Rock. I didn't really like that new song. It was just listening to it in the theater, it was just like, ugh. Don't really like this new song that they added in, just no. Overall, The Lion King 2019 is a mixed bag for me. While it's visually amazing and has a solid voice cast, it is emotionally hollow and did not justify its existence of why we needed a Lion King remake. This is honestly one of my most disappointing movies of the year. I wanted to like this movie and enjoy it. Jon Favreau was directing it and I loved The Jungle Book, interested to see what he would do, but when this movie ended, I just felt very underwhelmed. When the animated film ended, it was just so exciting. It was just like, yeah, that was a great movie. But when this live action remake ended, I was just like, alright, I watched that. I'm gonna go home. I wouldn't say this was a bad movie. I don't know if I would say it was good. It's just a very mediocre remake. And already in its opening weekend, it already made $185 million. It's crushing it at the box office, which I predicted. And it's probably going to make $1 billion worldwide. And I felt like this was a very underwhelming remake that sadly disappointed me. And overall, I am going to give The Lion King 2019 2.5 stars out of 5. It's an okay movie. Pretty forgettable in my opinion. I would say if you want to see this film so badly, check this film out if you want, but I would say rent this movie when it comes out on Blu-ray or DVD. Not quite a must-see in my opinion, but if you have no plans to see this movie, and if you don't feel like giving it a chance, you can skip this movie if you want. So what do you guys think about The Lion King 2019? Do you agree? Disagree with me? Let me know below. Make sure to like this video, leave a comment, and subscribe if you're new here. It really means a lot. I'm Jack Benner, and look forward to another movie review.